Well, hello. Editing Sam here. This is part 2 of a 2-part reaction video to this catastrophe of an Optavia Opportunity Zoom Call. If you missed the first part of this, I will go ahead and link that right here in the corner so that you can go and watch that. I do recommend that you watch that first because there's a lot of things that they talked about that are very problematic that we went over, but there's still just so much to go over that I had to break it up into 2 parts. So this is part 2 and we will get right into it. I do want to put a trigger warning on this video that we are going to be talking about toxic diet culture. If that may trigger you, if you have body dysmorphia, disordered eating, skip this video. I am totally okay with that. Protect your peace, protect your health. We're nutrition coaches, we're marriage counselors, we are doctors. When is it going to stop? When is somebody going to say enough is enough and shut them down? I will never shut up about Optavia. As much as they make me want to punch the wall, the word needs to get spread. This needs to stop.
Weekly community Zooms, Facebook groups. It's just absolutely phenomenal. If any of you are John Maxwell fans, you want to come to Arizona in 2 weeks to level up, we have John Maxwell speaking to all of us as coaches. So we have incredible events, and we would love to welcome you to one of our events. And then of course our fuelings, they're proven, they're simple. The plan hasn't changed in 40 years. It's just gotten better. It's gotten more complete, but it's pretty amazing that the simple to follow fueling plan. And then there's the 5th component, which is what most people do at some point, is they pay it forward. And the rewards of paying it forward is reinforces your decision to stay healthy, more purpose, community, compensation, retirement, legacy, impact, and ministry. And I always think like, man, if I hadn't chosen to pay it forward, I wouldn't have shared it with some of you guys. Met her at the beginning, my aunt Paula. I mean, her and Wes have helped literally thousands and thousands of people. I'm thinking, what if I wouldn't have called her up, or she didn't ask me and I didn't share with her what we were doing? I would have held so many different people up, and I don't want that on my hands. I don't want to be the domino. You guys ever play the game domino, right? You line up all the dominoes and you separate that one too far and it doesn't go over. I don't want to be that stubborn domino. I was like, no, I'm not going to be a coach. I have to wait till I'm going to be perfect. And what if I was holding people up? I don't want to be that. Next, I want to head out to TJ and Jenny, and these people's story is phenomenal. I'll let them tear it. And they're brand new. They're brand new coaches in the last couple of months. So I wanted you to hear from someone just getting started, their experience so far. So TJ and Jenny, I'll toss it to you.
Thanks, Doug. So we were totally that stubborn domino. Yeah. We were getting calls from our coaches, Tracy and David, and they're like, you guys would be phenomenal. You're that powerhouse couple. Come on. And we're like, no. Oh, it's Tracy and David. No. We were constantly knowing them. And then I stepped on the scale because I would wear stretchy pants all the time. And when I saw my number on the scale was pregnancy weight, and I was not pregnant, I was like, give me the phone. I'm calling Tracy and David. And I'm crying and it's hysterical. And I'm like, I don't want to coach, but I need a program. I can't believe this. And I'm losing it, on all the things. And, it was phenomenal. So I jumped on program. About a week in, I was like, where do we sign up? We have to coach. And he's like, whoa, hold on. Right.
Yeah. And so for me, my main motivation, because I'm frugal is the nice way to put it. I'm a cheap guy. And so I was like, hey, let's just figure out a way to pay for these fuelings, and that'll be good enough. And then the more we got into this community and the more we started meeting more people and just hearing the stories of what coaching has offered them, I got to be honest, I'm a lot like what Doug said at the beginning. I'm the guy who went to school to be a teacher. And now here I am almost 15 years later. And, I'm not trying to demean the profession, and it's certainly super valuable, and the world needs great teachers. And I feel like I've been called to be there for the time we've been there. But man, I'm looking back at 15 years later, being like, is this filling our cup? Is this all that there is for us right now? And so we felt this call a while back that we need to slow down. So we're teachers. We were in full-time ministry for a little bit, and we just burnt out. And so but how do you slow down, right? How do you slow down and still pay the bills? Right. And so we are like, man, we have this passion for loving and serving and helping people, encouraging people. But like Doug said at the beginning, you don't get paid for discipleship unless you work for a church. And you know, we've been there, done that, and we don't feel like that's our calling right now. And talking to people who have been coaching for a while and seeing the life that this has provided them, where they can pull back and disciple their family first, right? Because now they've got time. They're not stretched to the max. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a way to be able to pour into our kids and to build our marriage so that we leave a legacy.
She's adorable. I just love all of her like agreeing, like, oh, I don't agree with what they're saying, but she's freaking adorable.
Legacy for our kids and the people around us, but we also need to pay the bills.
Right.
And
we started homeschooling because of this reason. We're like, well, we want to homeschool. We know that's fantastic. I want to be the person who buys that RV and let's go on the road. Yeah! You know, and I want to go everywhere. And we're like, ooh, okay, well, you're in a classroom right now. That's not possible. But what can we do so we can just, and I think one thing that's open for us is our dreamer.
Yeah.
Like now we're like dreaming big. And we had a conversation with Terry and Dan and Tracy and David, and they were just like opening our eyes to things. And it's just like, yeah.
The world literally needs more teachers like her. Please go back to teaching. This is not a good idea. Run away, abort mission.
Yeah, like we're doing this, you know, and we're just so pumped and excited. And we're just like, let's do it.
We're very new to this, but we are starting to dream again. We're starting to see the possibilities of, man, we actually can get paid and paid well for loving people, for encouraging people. You saw in the picture that was up there for praying with people and walking through, you know, side by side with people through whatever life is throwing at them. And there's an opportunity to do that without working 70, 80 hours a week and being stretched so thin that we don't have time to love each other and love our own kids well. And man, the impact I feel like that we could potentially have through this is limitless. And we're just really excited to see where this goes and where God leads us in it.
Yeah, we love it. We're so excited. Thank you for having us, Doug.
Yeah, you're doing phenomenal. I have a question for you though. You've been coaching a couple months. How many clients are you guys have so far?
Over 10.
I think 13 or 14.
I want to say 13 or 14.
And if I can be 100% transparent with you, I've never even done a health assessment. I'm working full time. I just got done coaching basketball full time. So I'm working 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I'm starting the conversations. I'm doing whatever I can do at this time. She's rocking it. I've not done a health assessment yet. But man, we're ready to go. Like we're ready to, you know, jump full in and see where this leads.
So he is still working, but they're making it sound like they're running their Optavia business and that's all they're doing and that's their income. So I'm confused. Where's the discrepancy here?
Yeah, but that's a great testimony to all of us on the line is you just said yes to exploring and now you said yes to coaching. You're not promising yourself the world or anything. You're just going, and I'm going to use your words. You're just saying, yes, God, I will go.
Yes.
And that's not our nature. We're risk averse people. And I've always been a play it safe guy, but we're in this season where it's just like, yeah, let's say yes and see what happens. Let's not worry about all the what ifs that could go the wrong way. What if this turns out to be what we've been looking for? What if this turns out to be what we were placed on this planet to do? And if it's not, then we'll make some great friends in the process. But if it is, you know, what could happen? So
yeah, that's right. I love it, guys. And TJ, I know you just booked your flight out to your level up in a couple of weeks. So I can't wait to hug you in person, man.
Yes,
bless
thank you
guys. This is cool. So, you know, speaking of that, before I bring on Stephanie, our last speaker, you know, many different rewards of coaching, you know, and I mentioned a few of them. But probably the leadership tools. And like you said, this doesn't work out. What I've gained is a bunch of friends, personal development, you know, and, you know, a healthy mind and, you know, so many different things. And
Doug thinks that Optavia coaching will bring you community, accountability, income and debt reduction, friendships, personal development, better marriage, leadership tools, time with kids and family, healthy body, healthy mind, retirement options, increased charitable giving. Okay, here's what you're going to get from this. A community that will turn its back on you in an instant. So income reduction and debt increases. Friendships also that will fall apart in an instant if you decide to leave the Optavia community. Personal development, which is starting to become more and more. Better marriage, please tell me how. Leadership tools, absolutely not. Time with kids and family, also absolutely not, because the amount of time that you have to put into this to actually make any kind of income is going to take away from your time with kids and family, so you'll have less of that. Healthy body, no, because you're focusing on your weight, and that's it. And you're also eating prepackaged garbage fuelings for the majority of your food. A healthy mind, no, you're gonna do some damage to your mind because of the body dysmorphia that is happening, because of the hustle mentality inside of these MLMs. Retirement options, excuse me, anybody can give you retirement options. You go and open an IRA, you talk to a financial advisor, you invest money. You don't need to join an MLM for retirement options, and I don't know what retirement options they really would offer anyway. Increased charitable giving, probably not, because you're not going to make enough to make ends meet in your own financial situation. So debunked all of these. Moving on.
And that's amazing, because what I love most about Optavia coaches is we literally call ourselves first responders. Now, I do not disregard the true first responders. Our fire, our policemen, our medical are amazing first responders, but Optavians are often first responsible. And here's the reason why. When
Optavians and they're first responsible? No, sir.
There's a need, most Optavia coaches can say, yes, I can go. So for example, when the hurricanes just hit, not too long ago down in the South, this whole group of guys and coaches are like, what do you need? We're on our way. It was like, we're our own Optavia army. What do they call that? Like the Louisiana army that goes and helps down there in the flood. Like Optavia has an army of like, when something's going on in the world and our Optavia family needs help, it's like going, because A, we have the time, and B, most Optavia coaches have the income, so they don't have to check with their job or their boss to get time off. It's just like, no, I'm working from my phone anyway.
That's a lie. And you can even tell he's lying because before he said it, he hesitated. Most Optavia coaches do not have the income. And the income disclosure statement that says 0.24 or 0.26, whatever it was, are making the top amount of money says that. Sir, stop lying to people.
I'll just coach while I'm down helping. And so I share that photo with you, and there's amazing, because we can give a lot of resources back to our, our communities, our churches, different things that might be a passion to yours. I just put a few up, but you can really be the first boots on the ground. And I just love that so much. So, what does it look like? First 30 days, if you're a new coach and helping about 3 clients, Optavia is going to pay you about $300 for that. And that's based on a full order. So pretty awesome. And then 5 clients, it's going to more than pay for your own fuelings your first month. And again, that's doing it within your first 30 days. So absolutely the income is great. And if you want to do more, like TJ and Jenny are starting to do, you can get an idea of what 16 clients might pay or 24 clients might pay. And then if you want to get into team building, I will tell you, it quickly can go up. It does take a lot of work, take a lot of hard work. I didn't go full-time Optavia until I was quite a ways into my health and my Optavia journey. I was about a year working Optavia business and still running my furniture store before I went time, because I had a bigger income to replace, and I needed to see that this was going to be definitely a career that I could, put my anchor down in and it be trustworthy.
I'll also add, because he's acting like he's making all of this money in Optavia, he has all different kind of things going on. They both do. So him and his wife, Tia, they both have things going on. So Tia has this whole thing called Kick Fear in the Face, where she sells different things. She sells some books. She has a podcast. She also apparently was on tour. Ended. It's called the Beehive Tour, and there were 9 different events for people to buy tickets to. They also have this other thing that they co-founded called Valor Global Online. So they have that income coming in. He does other coaching. He has a whole bunch of other streams of income. So I would probably say that the majority of his income is not coming from Optavia. So this is all false claims. There's no validity that seems to be coming from what he is claiming. And it's just gross. I say this in all my videos. It's gross how he is manipulating people to believe what is not true. These are actually cult tactics, and it's so hard to watch him try to manipulate people in this way.
As well, and I'll share with you what that looks like in a second. I'm going to share one more screen of incomes, and I battled sharing it or not, because some of you are going to be like, too good to be true, just like the first time I saw it 14 years ago. But I just wanted to share with you a few bonuses just from January of coaches on this line and everywhere in between. And if it's true for you, just drop in the chat. Hey, yeah, I can relate to that income that's on the screen, or even what you've seen so far, because I know we have a lot of coaches on, and then we also have a lot of guests. So before I show that slide, Optavia has been around for 40 years. And in 2002, our earnings report was just reported. We impacted over 2 million lives, and we had over $1.5 billion in revenue as a company in 2022. Got an A+ rating on Bloomberg. Forbes were the second fastest growing company in 21, fastest growing health company in 20 and 21. 22 has not been released yet, so we don't know. Rated in the top 100 most trusted companies, 17 and 18. And of course, we are on the New York Stock Exchange under MED. Now, here's the incomes. Here's some sample incomes. And you can see a newer coach helping about 15, 16 people over here, all the way to some absolutely extreme incomes closer on the right-hand side. And if this resonates with you, or yes, you are making something like this on the line, feel free to drop it in the chat just so other people know.
This is giving a false sense of hope, because even the newer coach that he said is helping 15 to 16 people. Okay, typically in the coaching realm, which I said it in my last video, in my opinion, is imploding. Generally, when you are working with a coach, you have some type of call, and that will happen once a week generally. I don't know how Optavia coaches do it. I'm sure it's all specific to the coach. But if you are coaching 15 to 16 people, and say you offer them a 45-minute to an hour long call every week, so that's 15 hours a week of just client calls, 3 hours a day if you're working Monday through Friday, 3 hours a day of just getting on the phone with a client. I don't know if that's something that they do, but if you're actually coaching somebody, if you're actually holding them accountable, there is some kind of communication that has to happen between you and the coaching client. So this $863.69 is not time freedom. It's probably, even that's on the higher side. If you think about how many people you know, how many people are going to say yes to going on a starvation diet? How many people are going to know better when you offer them this starvation diet? So you have to factor all of these things in, and not just look at the highest paycheck on here, which is $66,000. Like, to achieve that, it's going to be very, very hard if you ever even get there in an MLM. It's just so much income claims happening right now.
Like, hey, and maybe even drop how many hours a week you might be working. Every coach is a little bit different. What you put in is definitely what you will put out. So last but not least, before I bring on Stephanie, there's so many coaching advantages. Obviously, the flexibility, we've talked about that. We have incredible weekly training that is optional, of course, but it's available for you 2 to 3 times a week. What I love about Optavia is there's no inventory, we have no territories, and it's not a wholesale buying club. In fact, I pay the same price for fuelings as you do. No matter if you're a coach, you do not become a coach to get a discount on your program. That's what makes our compensation so pure. It often is people's next step in their personal health and accountability. And the great news is all you need is your phone.
All right, so you know what else gives you all of those advantages? And then some? Something like a virtual assistant position. You can have the flexibility. Most virtual assistant contract, or any contract position, really, freelance, anything. You have the flexibility to work from anywhere. You also can have free trainings on YouTube. They're everywhere. You have no inventory, no territories, or no wholesaling. Okay, maybe it's not your next step in your personal health and accountability, but that is not a necessary step for starting a business. And then all you need is your phone. There are a lot of virtual assistant positions that are social media geared, which you can do all from your phone. So MLM is not the only way. And if you choose to do some kind of freelance virtual job position, you will get a paycheck to begin with. So that's a plus. A guaranteed paycheck. Isn't that cool?
So with that said, I'm going to close up in Wisconsin and head out to my friend Stephanie tonight. As Stephanie, you've been blessed by Optavia. You've been coaching a couple of years. So share with us as we round out this call.
Another trigger warning right here. I will put the timestamp of when this whole situation is over. But when Stephanie came on, she started talking about unaliving and postpartum depression. So if that is a trigger for you, skip to this time right here and we will be done talking about that.
Thanks so much, Doug. It's such an honor to be here. And you guys, can I just get real with you? Can I share my truth tonight? 2 years ago, I've been coaching 23 months now. I was at a place of battling about 40 extra pounds. There's my husband, Brandon, there on the left-hand side. And I was actually silently struggling with postpartum depression, anxiety, and I wanted to end my own life.
Why is this always a thing when you are trying to recruit for a multi-level marketing company? It's always postpartum depression, unaliving, just straight up depression. Like, that is not a way to recruit people. This is disgusting. People who are actually in a mental health crisis are going to look at this and possibly jump in because of this specific reason. It's likely going to make things worse and make it harder for that person to work their way out of that. Instead of joining an MLM, if you are feeling these things, please speak to a loved one. Tell them how you're feeling. If you don't want to immediately call a therapist, talk to somebody who loves you, who knows you, and who can actually walk you through it and be like, listen, we need to get you into a therapist appointment. We need to get you a counselor, something of that nature, not an MLM. You can't exploit people's mental health, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
And my husband walked in on me one day and said, "What are you doing calling the suicidal hotline?" I love my husband, but I had a chemical imbalance going on. And, a slew of other things. I was uncomfortable, unconfident in my own skin. And I just thought losing weight seemed to be a good fit, right? I had followed my coach for about 3 years and I finally jumped into program. What I realized was, yes, the weight was coming off, but that seems so minute to how I now feel in my mind, even 2 years later. And that's why I'm such a believer in this nutrition plan. Can you relate to that? You'd feel so good on the inside, right? You're experiencing that right now, but I still didn't want to coach. I remember turning my coach down about 8 times. I had some concepts, some misconceptions about it. I was very stubborn about it. I didn't want to try a new thing. I had a lot of things going on that Doug had mentioned. I didn't have the time, so I thought, but I realized I can fit this into the nooks and crannies around my family. And it gives me so much life when I get to pour into people.
In the pockets of your day. Even if you're feeling like you're in a mental health crisis, just work your Optavia business instead. That will make everything better.
What I've realized with my mental health struggles is when my nutrition is on point, or if I'm exercising, or if I'm pouring into people, that's when I feel fulfilled and alive. And that's why I choose to keep coaching, because I feel so purpose-driven from what this has done for me by pouring into other people. So I just thought to myself as I was kind of toying back and forth, should I coach? Should I not coach? And I just told myself, what if I just try? Like, I feel like we're not ever going to be fully ready for something, but what if I just give it my honest best effort? What if I just actually did what my coach said and just posted and just see where it went? And by golly, people were reaching out. They wanted what I had, and I got to help them. And it just was so fulfilling. And I was addicted. I was addicted from day one because I felt so fulfilled on the inside. And so what I realized from coaching is that it has given me freedom in my place of pain. It has made me just be relatable and be human with people. I get to connect with them. And I've never cried more in my life than crying happy tears with clients on the phone when they're getting their own life back.
This is concerning. I'm worried for her. As someone who struggles with depression, sometimes you can shift your focus to something else. This also happens a lot with bipolar disorder. And I'm sure with other mental health disorders, but these are the two that I'm very familiar with. When you have a mental health diagnosis, such as depression or bipolar disorder, you can hyper-focus on something, and that will make you feel better. And I'm concerned that because of the timing she joined Optavia, that if anything were to happen with Optavia, it could be pretty scary for her. And this is why exploiting depression and postpartum depression or thoughts of unaliving yourself, things like that, you should not be able to use that to sell your MLM product, your coaching product, anything. You should not be able to use that to sell anything. It can do so much damage to somebody.
Just as we have a super strong client community, we have an even stronger coaching community. And honestly, these people feel like family. I remember when we got in a car accident, just like a year into coaching, and my mentor coach, Meredith, she brought a lean and green to our house. Like, these people really, really care about you.
If you're not familiar with lean and green, that is the one meal you can have a day when you are on the 5-in-1 plan. And that is something like your grilled chicken and your steamed broccoli, a lean protein, and a green.
Okay to want and desire more out of life. That like tug on your heart that you're feeling tonight, that itching, that is growth. It's your brain is trying to hold you back. But what I've realized, if I just go with my gut, go with my heart, that is fulfilling growth happening right now. So in 23 months, my husband, Brandon, and I have been able to help 1,200 people get healthy between us and our coaching partners. And you might be thinking, oh, it must be nice, or she just got lucky. But can I just tell you for a second, all I'm doing is I'm pursuing the next uncomfortable thing, because that's where I feel the most growth and the most alive. And so Optavia has compensated us beyond our wildest dreams. Those numbers that Doug shared are real, and I'm experiencing that in 23 months. We got to buy a new camper. I paid off my student loans within 6 months into coaching. We took a 2-week family Florida vacation, all expenses paid, travel, plane, food. I get to travel to see my coaching partners and travel to events. We've been to Idaho, Georgia, North Dakota, Oregon, Tennessee, Arizona, Florida. It's fun. It gives me life. I got to pay for my sister's $800 wedding veil, and that gave me so much life, just saying, here, sis, I'll front the bill for that. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. My husband loves taking $100 bills out to random people that really, truly need it and just blessing them. We got to bless a family this Christmas of 3 that couldn't afford Christmas, and we got to give them Christmas. And it was amazing because we got to teach our kids what
the likelihood of anybody who joins Optavia right now getting 1,200 clients is slim to none. She's selling this fake reality. While I'm watching the recording, there is a delay with the sound and the actual video. So if you're noticing that, my apologies. That is just the way that the video downloaded.
There's a Wisconsin snowstorm happening right now, and I didn't have to ask a boss off of work today. I got to be with my kids today, and we got to just hang out, and I got to do coaching around that. I love that. I don't have to ask somebody for time off of work. I'm dreaming with my husband again. I'm so proud of him. We're no longer stressing about money or living paycheck to paycheck. I'm watching my coaching partners leave their job now. Tammy, Brooke, Rich, Kristen, I'm so happy for you. And I get to bless people financially now. In 23 months, I get to watch this gift continue to get paid forward. There is texts that come in, and there was this grandma, and she said, Steph, I was and your posts about overcoming your suicidal thoughts literally saved my life. So that's why I continue to show up, because I never would have experienced that if I wouldn't have said yes. It gives me accountability in my own health. Can I just be honest for a second?
What the are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're using your Optavia post to talk about your unaliving yourself experiences. Oh my, I have no words. I have no words. First of all, as somebody who has experienced things like this, if you have a friend who is, I'm going off topic, but I don't care because this is something close to my heart. So if you have a friend who struggles with depression and you notice anything change. Anything. They could be somebody who's very consistent on social media. They can be somebody who's not usually funny, but then all of a sudden is funny. When they are not showing up on social media like they used to, when they're not talking to you about like little things like they used to, check on them. When they are making more jokes than usual, when they are trying to be more funny than they usually are, check on them. Genuinely ask them how they are. If you want to post about your mental illness, that is a personal choice. I do it sometimes. I'm doing it right now. But if you have a mental illness, please do not tie it into an MLM or any kind of other thing that includes money. Truly care for people with no ulterior motive and check on your friends.
Second, if I wasn't aligned with my clients and serving them, I would have gained my 40 pounds back by now. I would have been struggling in my mental health again. It gives me accountability. And that to me is priceless.
See, she said it right there. Like I said before, God forbid anything happens with Optavia. She said that without Optavia, she would be struggling in her mental health. This is a red flag. I hope to God, the universe, whatever you believe in, that she is getting help from a professional therapist or getting counseling from somebody, because Optavia is not going to fix this for you. No diet program is going to fix this for you. You need professional help, and there is professional help out there. People need to get it instead of joining these falsely advertised communities, these MLMs, these other business opportunities. Please don't do that. I know it's hard, but getting actual help from a licensed professional who knows what to give you or what not to do, what to do for you to get you out of that mental health crisis that you are in, that is the only thing. Anything that is going to require you to join an MLM is not going to help.
So let me just ask you, what if this is what you've been praying about? What if this is the sign from God? What if this is the time for you to rise up and challenge yourself for more? What if there's a life on the other side that needs you, not your coach? What if they need you? What if your family can be blessed? And what if mom and dad no longer have to stress about money? What if you could give more to your church? What if this is your time? What if? Thank you, Doug.
Awesome. What if is exactly right. Phenomenal. And I love how, Steph, you're like, can I be honest for a second? Yes. Keep being honest, because that's what it's all about. A lot of us, I think tonight, it's time to get honest and say, you know, am I open to maybe thinking outside the box and doing something that one of these stories or something here tonight has tugged at your heart? And you're like, oh my gosh. And you're just literally have this like eerie feeling in your pit of your stomach. Good. That's you stepping and embracing fear.
No, sir. That's your gut telling you to run the other way. Don't confuse that for your gut telling you to jump in, please.
Saying, okay, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50. Is it time to get out of my comfort zone? And I would say yes. I would challenge you to do it. Even if it's not for you, it could be for them. It could be for your family. It could be for your friends. I want to remind everybody as we, wrap up that Steph's story is, not typical, but also she was willing to work hard and do the work. She was willing to make sacrifices to make that type of income because she wanted it so bad. So we'll train you how, but the effort is up to you. So where do we go from here? What's next? Well, you belong here and we'll guide and help you. So really, to get started, reach out to the person who invited you. They can kind of clarify some questions. In fact, you might get a text from them tonight just saying, hey, what story stood out to you? And it might bring up some questions. Schedule a Zoom or a phone call with them tonight. Maybe you can hop on the phone with them yet even tonight. It does cost $199 to become a coach kit, to get a coach kit and have a health coach ID with Optavia. And that's a one-time fee with a recurring fee of $99 per year. So it's $199 for 365 days. And really, it comes down to exploring. So I hope you've enjoyed. I don't even like to call this a presentation. I just hope you've enjoyed coming into our family tonight and just saying, are you looking for a community and a family like this? We're willing to help you. We're willing to help you win. And like I would say, You have a place here. You belong here. God bless y'all. Good night. So I normally don't do this on calls like this, but if there happen to be a couple of questions that you would like to drop in the chat, that you would like some clarification on, I do encourage you to shoot a text over, or like I say, you might get a text from the person who invited you even here soon. But if there's something you want me to clarify or touch on, I'm willing to stay on for a couple of minutes, and I'll read the chat and see if I can't help some people out that is super interested, but maybe you just want some clarity. So, and I'm seeing a lot of thank yous. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying that. So, okay, I'll watch for the chat here for a moment because I know it might take a second to type it up. Okay, well, they're going in fast now. How could you get people to join Plan if they are struggling financially? That has been the biggest hiccup, getting some people to join. Okay, I'll start with that question. Two things. Optavia is not a cheap program that just is a shot or a pill or a diet drug. There's a new gimmick every day on the market out there trying to help people. So it's not a $50, $60, $100 plan that you can just put a shot in your side. It is a real plan with 4 components supporting people to win. So it's for the serious people that want to change. I'm not saying serious people have the money or don't have the money, but what I have discovered, most people, if they understand what it is and they're really ready to make the change and they've seen enough proof and consistency in you, that I've had people have a garage sale. I've had people put a lot of stuff on eBay. I've had people take stuff to the consignment store. They've had money within 48 hours. I've had some sell something in their garage, be willing to sacrifice in another area because they wanted it so bad, including their coach kit.
So annoying when they say that, like, sell stuff, sell everything you have to buy this $199 kit. Mind you, $199 gets you your kit and to sign on. But for a 30-day supply of fuelings for one singular person, it's $395.25. So, what are you going to do? Sell something in your garage every month to be able to afford a $400 box of overly processed food when you can go to the grocery store and pay way less for actual food that you can make and cook and eat, and it's good for you and it helps you with your health and all of those things. This is not a sustainable thing. You cannot just sell things in your garage every time you have to purchase from Optavia.
So I would just make sure that I'm going to use the word fishing, but make sure you're fishing in a pond, that people see the value in it. But it will be harder financially for people if they're comparing it to just, I think I'll try that. It's not a try that plan. Well, it could be, but it's a $400 investment plan that most people are going to save money because they're not going to be eating Starbucks and eating out as much. They're going to actually save money on plan. But for the person that's just living out of the credit and debit swipe card every single day, it's a little bit more of a person that, is going to invest in some of those areas.
Okay, but what he's not mentioning is that this $400 investment is for one person. So, for example, myself, we're a family of 4. So you have to factor in, like, kids shouldn't be on this program, first of all. So you have to purchase food for your kids, and if your partner is not doing Optavia with you when you decide to jump in and spend $400 on this box of garbage for yourself, then you have to also purchase groceries for your partner. Now, on the flip side, if your partner did decide to do it with you, it would be an $800 investment every month, and then you would have to additionally purchase food for your children. So it's not comparable to somebody who is buying groceries. It's not at all. There's so many other things that go into it. Even if you do the plan, you have to buy your lean and green ingredients. So it all adds up so quickly, and you end up spending way more than you would have spent if you had started eating healthier options and not just turned to the processed boxed food that they send you.
Next question yes, there will be the recording going out here tonight, and someone that probably invited you will have access to it at some point later this evening. The next question was, will it be recorded? And the answer is yes. You're very welcome. When I meet people in public, do you tell them the full name of the program? New to coaching? Oh, awesome, Sarah. I'm glad you're new. Welcome to the family. It's a personal decision. I've been doing this for 14 years. I'm very proud of the name Optavia. It's a very good name in the industry. A lot to be proud of. But when I'm meeting somebody, I don't name drop Optavia the first thing I do. It's not as important. As an Optavia coach, people are buying you. They're not buying a product. They're not buying the name Optavia. Like a lot of you guys are buying an iPhone. You're buying an iPhone. You don't care about the salesman who's selling it to you. You know the iPhone will work. Optavia is relationship. So people are buying you, your consistency, your confidence. And so I find that it's not important, but if the conversation comes up, absolutely. That's what it's going to say on their credit card. But I don't post that all over Facebook as a newer coach. I don't think there's a need to, but at the same time, I'm not embarrassed by the conversation if people want to have it.
That's just so deceptive. I know that he's saying like he doesn't blast it all over Facebook, but he's making it sound like he leaves it up to people to keep asking questions so that he can pull them in further. And that is a tactic that is used across all MLMs, even though they're not technically supposed to. Even with Awakend, we saw in my last video, Danielle Mioli is telling people to block out the labels on all of your posts and make people message you to talk to you about what you're doing. This is very similar to that, and it's just a really nasty tactic that they use.
Is the pay scale based on the timing of becoming a coach in the first 3 months, or is the pay scale consistent no matter when you become a coach? There are some bonuses and some advantages for if you acquire more clients your first month or two. There's some extra bonuses, but the pay scale is consistent whether you start today or you started 14 years ago with me. I get paid the exact same way that you get paid. It's just all a matter of what you do with it. So this isn't one of those, I've heard that sometimes people compare us to like a multi-level marketing company, which multi-level marketing is freaking incredible. But there's no advantage of getting in 14 years ago or 5 years ago. The advantage of getting in is today because it's what.
I'm really confused. Like he just said, people compare us to a multi-level marketing company. Doug, you are a multi-level marketing company. This is multi-level marketing. When you have different levels of people underneath you and you make money from recruiting people and selling your product that is in my opinion, cover up for a pyramid scheme, that is a multi-level marketing company. There's no comparing you to one. You are one.
You do with it and how you build it. I paid $199 for my coach kit. They have not raised the price of the coach kit in 14 years. It's just some people cash in on their kit and other people, it sits on the shelf and, pray and hope that something changes. But I took a lot of action and I do put the phone in front of my face and I share my story a lot because it's encouraging to others. And a lot of people relate to my story just as they do to Stephanie's. Then they came my way. Of course, we're in overtime. By all means, if you want to log off, I'm sure you will. Just answering some questions here. I could probably come up for air for a second. Terry, Gerard, or Paula, did you guys want to take a question?
There was a question that asked if there were Hispanics coaching, and I will say yes, but we need more because we do have some materials in Spanish, but the Latino culture is growing rapidly in Optavia.
So now we're gonna target the Hispanic community. They don't need to be targeted for MLMs. Nobody does. I am very clearly very white, but in my opinion, I feel like I don't want to say anything coming off as ignorant or coming out the wrong way. And if it does, please let me know. I want to make sure that I'm not offending anybody. But I don't believe that Hispanic or Black communities need to be targeted for MLMs. They go through enough every day. Can we not do that? Just because you have Spanish materials, now we're going to target the Hispanic community? Please don't. Please no.
You might want to comment more on that, Doug.
Yeah, Optavia is always looking for opportunities to expand and help the world get healthy. And yes, we need help. Our Mexican friends here in America need a lot of help. And of course, you know, south of the border in Latin America as well. So I definitely, you know, of people.
What does that even mean? Our Mexican friends in America need help? What? Doug, you need a reality check is what you need.
We're in the process of converting more and more of our materials to be able to serve that community. But great question. Oh, Sonia, this excites me. I love this. Maybe I'm not understanding the income chart, but it seems 20% of the coaches aren't earning anything. That's exactly right, because they're not doing anything. They bought a coach kit, and I say this with complete respect, and their hope.
How does he know they're not doing anything? If he's not living in their house and following them 24/7, you can't say they're not doing anything. It's just your opinion that they're not doing anything. You can't tell people who are asking a legitimate question when you are buying into a business opportunity that those people aren't doing anything, and that's why.
And praying that, I guess, the coach kit came with some first clients or something, but it doesn't. Optavia is paying you to go help your people that you would know. And like TJ and Jenny shared, they're like, you could, they're at like month 2 and they're at just now at 12 clients, but you heard TJ, he's like, I haven't done a lot. It's been her. I'm just trying to figure this out. So it takes a different time. I personally did not acquire my first client for 90 days. Drop in the chat how long, if you coaches that are on the line, drop in the chat how long it took you to start your first 5 clients or your first 1. Me, it took 90 days. Am I a late bloomer? Maybe, but so what? Steady wins and consistency wins. So we're all different, but it really comes down to, you know, what you want to do.
Doug, here's a good question that came in that I know you'll want to address. Someone said, do you have to be big into social media to be successful?
Oh, I would answer that 2 ways. I'm like, no. You have to be big sharing your story. There are people in Optavia that have helped thousands of people. Dr. Anderson would be one. He's like the OG health coach, thousands of people. I don't think he's ever posted a before and after photo or has done a reel on Instagram or Facebook. You're like, well, he's Dr. A. No.
Because he had a really large community of people who he had manipulated enough to purchase from him. If you're not familiar with Dr. Anderson, that's also Dr. A. He was a critical care doctor, and I go into all of the details of why he's not necessarily qualified. The plan alone should be proof enough, but he's not necessarily qualified to be coaching or promoting this coaching program to the general population.
He creates his conversations through one-on-one and through groups and through things in his local area and the places he goes. I would say steward your soil well. And if you're a social media person, I believe it's one of the fastest, best ways to meet people. Steward your soil well. This whole world needs you, and there's a lot of people not on social media, and they know nothing about Optavia. And so, it is what you make of it.
Hey, Doug, this is Dan.
Hey, Dan and Terry. Good to see you on, Dan.
Hey, wouldn't miss this for the world. But I saw someone said, I'm 70 years old. Am I too old? And I wanted to address that because, you know, we have clients ranging from teenagers to almost 80 years old. And guess what? You will too.
And I had a client who she's 70 years old and she's lost more weight for me personally than any other client, 178 pounds, 70 years old. So you're not too old.
That's right. I love that. Kim put in a great question. For those on the call, what does the $199 pay for specifically to sign up as a coach? It's basically a coaching license. Now, Optavia does send you some great swag and
a coaching license that requires nothing but for you to purchase the kit. Literally. But you're calling it a coaching license? He's taking a on all of the people who went to school for diabetes educating or registered dietitian or anything in that line of work.
A binder and some things that will help you to support a client, but you're basically paying for a website, address, an ID to be active, to be an active coach with Optavia. Okay, I'll maybe look for a couple more questions here and then we'll call it a night. Am I missing any questions, Paula or Terry, that might be relevant or hasn't been covered?
No, I think we're covering them well. I think Jen had asked if she could share, and I'm trying to unmute her, but yeah, Jen Jones had to do with the social media. Maybe that's not good.
I'll take this one from Kimberly. I have had people say they wouldn't join me because they don't care for the MLM business model. How do you handle the feeling and current feeling of the economy about this tone? Well, it means that we're in after hours. I will answer that extremely honestly. So people that aren't into multi-level marketing, does that mean that they're just into single level marketing? We're in a world where there's so much happening. And I want to leverage my time and I want to be with my kids. And if I can make impact, I mean, there's not a lot of people in the world, like, you know how long it takes to work up the Starbucks chain? And the Starbucks chain of command doesn't always exactly, nothing against Starbucks. I love Starbucks. Some of you are like, you do? I'm like, yeah, I do. Spend a lot of money there. But that manager and that regional manager is not always motivated to train the next man up because they're going to take their job. An Optavia coach, because of the way the compensation is designed, the more people that I help pass me, technically, I'm compensated for developing them. So there's
What? Oh my God. They are getting paid a guaranteed hourly wage. They are also getting PTO. They are getting a 401k. They are getting health benefits, and they are getting their taxes taken out. When you are with Optavia, you are responsible for all of those things, and you are not guaranteed a paycheck. Ever. You don't have paid time off. You have to work in the pockets of your day, and hope that that's going to be enough to make ends meet. I know where he's going with this. He's trying to call Starbucks a multi-level marketing company, and that's not the case. And when a supervisor is training a new employee, they are not salty about it because they think they're going to steal their job. That is not a thing. I've been in a position where I had to train new people and I wasn't concerned that they were coming for my job. They were coming on the place that I was employed at to work, and I knew the skill set that they needed, so I had to train them. So it's totally different. It's totally different. When you are recruiting and training people to go above you, he says, I'm getting compensated for that. Well, of course you are, because it's a pyramid scheme and you recruited the person.
Kind of getting a little deep here for after hours, but there's two buckets of income. There's a client support income, and then there's a coach development income. So if Stephanie becomes a coach today, she starts 5 clients. She makes $500 and something. Okay. I think I get paid like $160 or $170. I don't know exactly, but she gets paid the most. I'm going to help her, but Optavia believes that the person doing the bulk of the amount of work deserves to get paid the most. It's basically opposite of corporate America. Corporate America, the peons down at the bottom, this is also in some MLM businesses too, the peons down there doing all the work while the big wigs at the top get rich. Optavia believes that the person doing the work deserves to get paid the most. And so the compensation is like set up very tiered to where if you're developing and helping people win, you are getting paid a little bit for that, but you're getting paid for
not most MLMs, all MLMs. It is a proven fact, as displayed by the FTC, that the people at the bottom of the pyramid are losing money. There are hardly any people in MLMs making money, and the people at the bottom of the pyramid are the people making the least amount of money. I don't know what he's trying to prove here, but there's so many facts that debunk everything he is saying.
Your client support. So it's phenomenal. Again, I'm getting deep here. We have a lot of great trainings on compensation, but I don't spend a lot of time, Kimberly, explaining myself either to people who are committed to misunderstanding me. I'm spending my time looking for the people who are the windows open. They're curious, but maybe they're lacking understanding. I love that conversation. But if somebody's like, what would you say to this?
He loves that conversation because he can manipulate them. When people come at him with facts, he knows that they know the facts and he can't manipulate them as easily, in my opinion.
I'm more just like, whatever works for you. I'm not, and as I said earlier, an Optavia coach that is pushy is not a very good coach. And so I'm never going to push someone to become a coach. I'm never going to push someone to do program, because when they quit, they'll say it doesn't work. And I'll be like, well, you didn't work it, right? You got to follow the plan. So anyway, well, I think.
How does he know that they didn't work it? How does he know that? Is he a fly on their wall? How does he know this?
I'm done, Paula and Terry and Dan. Any closing remarks or anything that has been missed?
Just say reach out to the person who invited you. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for all the speakers. We just appreciate you sharing from your heart. It's a beautiful program. Thank you.
Yeah, it sure is. God bless everybody. Good night.
That was garbage. That was such a disaster. Don't join Optavia. Speak out about Optavia. We got to make this go away. This is going to do so much damage to so many people, and it's terrifying. I'm going to go take some deep breaths. In the meantime, go and check out this video because I'm pretty sure you'll like it, and I will see you over there.